Hello, everybody. Welcome to a little talk on time management. Good thing I was on time today, huh? With this chat. So I like to get started right away because this is a live chat that we do on Fridays at 12:30 every Friday on the Instagram page, Caribbean Yoga. And then I post it on our YouTube channel as well, Caribbean Yoga YouTube channel. And just to start off with, let me just say, I am not an expert on time management, but we all have, I would have to say that we all can agree that there's definitely issues with time management in all of our lives, and we can be forgiving of ourselves, I hope. Because things get in the way in our lives, of the management of the time. I asked David a couple of things, my husband, of his own tips on time management. So I'm gonna save those for the end. And I have my tips as well that I use in my life. And again, I'll save those for towards the end. And let me just say that my list is a lot longer than his, so I don't know. I don't know what the deal is with that, but let's get started. So these are different websites that I got this information off of. This is mindtools.com is the name of it. And just the definition of time management: the process of organizing and planning how to divide your time between specific activities. Duh. That's a funny word, right? Duh. Okay. Good time management enables you to work smarter, not harder, so you can get more done in less time. I mean, yeah, right? We all know that when we follow time management appropriations, shall we say, or ways to manage our time efficiently, we all can say that, yeah, it feels better, it feels less stressful on our lives. So here's what Indeed.com is suggesting for some good time management skills. This is what they include. Organization. If you're not an organized person, I am in some ways, with certain things in my life, but I'm going to just be completely candid about paperwork. I cannot stand it, and I'm not very organized with it. That's my biggest thing for me. I'm not a big fan. You know what I mean? I feel like there's just too much of it in my life. There's too much paperwork. We get too much mail. It's so much junk, and they have to feed through it all or weed through it all and figure it all out. That's a lot of time. I feel like that takes up too much time. It's a time waster. That's what I feel like. So organization, staying organized can help you maintain a clear picture of what you need to complete and when. Well, yeah, this is why people who can afford it have assistants. You have an assistant who tells you when and what you need to be doing, right? That's what I need. I need an assistant. Hi, Natalie. Okay, so organization, prioritization, right? So prioritize things in your life to help with time management. And Natalie, this is good for going back to school information, right? How to manage your time with schoolwork and activities and all of that. Goal setting. So if you set some goals. Communication. Okay. Planning, delegation, stress management, and setting short and long-term goals. So those are all, according to Indeed.com, good time management skills to have. So of those skills, how efficient are you out of those skills? Prioritization, do you prioritize what's important? What needs to get done? Do you set goals? Do you communicate well to others and to yourself? What needs to be on the schedule and what needs to get done? Do you plan? Are you a planner? Or are you a last minute person? Do you run out the door at the last minute? Or do you do that assignment last minute? Or do you plan? Do you delegate? If you have an overload of things to do you ask this person or that person in your life if they just have a minute of their time, maybe they can do this or that for you, instead of it all being on your shoulders, especially if it's like in your living situation, right? If you're living with a family or with a group of people, delegating chores, for example, right? Out to everybody. Stress management. How are you with managing your stress? And then setting short and long-term goals. All right. So this is what I put together as a list of what I thought gets in the way of good time management. Let me know if you can relate to this, how you feel about this. These are just my opinions. Being human. And I even wrote on my notes, hello. So being human, like stuff gets put in the way of your day. Things that you cannot plan for. You cannot possibly plan for Hurricane Ida, right? To flood your basement like it did for so many people in the Northeast and also in New Orleans, right? You can't plan ahead for stuff like that to happen. So things come up, right? Things come up in your day that you can't expect. So that's kind of a part of, hi Amaria, hi Tony. So that's a part of the planning, right? You have to plan for the unexpected too sometimes, which is kind of interesting to think about. Or just accept that the unexpected, quite possibly could pop up and come into your life that day, right? So no matter what you do, no matter how much planning you do, just assume that there's probably another plan that might be thrown in the way of your plan. I'm good, Amaria. How are you? Okay. So these are the things, in my opinion, that get in the way of good time management. Being human. That was the first thing I said. Not being organized. Hate to say it, but I think a lot of people are not organized. I think it's why it's such a big industry. Like if you go to Office Max or Staples or one of these places, right? Or even any kind of store that's helping you to figure out how to organize your life better, right? They're trying to sell you products all the time on how to better organize your life, and you get so excited because here's the answer. This is going to be it. Hi, Sasha. This is going to be the answer that's going to help organize my life and help me figure out things so that I can manage my time better, right? And then you get the item, you bring it home, and you either fill it up with junk, and then you have to, you get stressed out about the junk that's in that item, and they have to sort through that at some point. I mean, it's just, organization is a big thing. It's an industry. That's why these big companies, they know that these products are going to sell because most people are not organized. Okay. I think of Monica on Friends, she's like the label maker, organized, that kind of person. And I just wonder what that feels like. I wonder what that feels like to be that organized. I wonder if it's like a constant state of stress and tension or relaxation and the ability to just like let go because you have set yourself up and organized things so well. I wonder. Okay, so not prepping or planning is another thing that's going to get in the way of good time management. Addictions are going to get in the way of good time management. I put down gaming. Hi, Isaiah. Gaming, television shows, right? How about those binge watching shows? How about them? News channels. If you put on a news channel nowadays, they are 24-hour news channels. you could get lost in that, right? And you know what happens? It repeats over and over again, all day long. The same news, all day long, right? So you don't need it. Drugs, alcohol, right? All these things, food addictions, right, can get in the way. So any kind of addictions, social media, right? How often do you go onto social media? CNN, oh, Sasha. How often do you go onto social media and now it's 3 hours later, 2 hours later, whatever the heck it is, right? You're just sitting there on social media, reading through stuff, blah, blah, blah. That is time. Look at me. That is time you will never get back again. Okay? You know what I mean? That is time you will never get back again. Yes, we let things distract us. But is that an addiction? Because it's pulling us away from the stresses of life or the things that we have to do. Eyewitness news too. Yeah. Because it feels better to be in that place than it does to be in that other place of, oh my God, look at everything that I have to get done, or look at that bill I have to pay that I'm ignoring, or the phone call I need to make, right? That place doesn't feel as warm and fuzzy as the addiction places. But that place where it doesn't feel as warm and fuzzy could feel better if we manage it better. So just something to think about. Procrastination, right, gets in the way of good time management. Procrastination, because we tell ourselves that we don't want to do this thing, don't want to do it, so I'm going to procrastinate, right? Or we tell ourselves, we lie to ourselves. For example, I have to get to this place at this time. Oh, I'm going to make it. I'll make it on time, right? So you procrastinate, you take your time, you drag your feet. Oh, I'm going to make it, right? It's a way not to deal with the stress or the things that we have to do. So we use things that are less stressful in some ways to take over that space. Yes, it's true. So let's say you have to be somewhere, okay? And you lie to yourself and you say, okay, it's going to take me 30 minutes to get there. I have to admit to you, I am talking about somebody in particular that I know. And you lie to yourself and you say, oh, I have to be there in a half an hour, 30 minutes. So what time do I have to leave? Oh, okay, this time. Okay, yeah, I can make it. And then, the time gets closer and closer and closer and closer. You're not going to make it anymore. You're not going to make it. We have to find things that help us keep our minds off of everything. Yeah. And, that's a part of time management too, is learning how to manage stress. So that's important too. Another thing that gets in the way of good time management, exhaustion, right? So maybe you're overworked, overly stressed about stuff in life, things in life. Maybe you've given yourself too many chores to do, right? So self-induced stress, because you're making your list. You're making your chore list of things that you need to do. So it's self-induced, right? Or scheduling. You're over-scheduling yourself. And another thing that I'm going to add to that is not putting yourself on the list. Yeah, putting too much on your plate. It's true. But also not putting yourself on that list of things. So we're going to get to that in a second too. If you're the type of person that does for others all the time or thinks of others before you, right? So you want to make sure that they're taken care of. And so you're saying yes all the time to people, for example, instead of saying, wait a minute, where am I on this schedule today? And let me make sure that that's taken care of before I commit myself to anybody else's schedule. So that's something to think about. Putting yourself first, which is something I have trouble doing, I'll admit. Yeah. So imagine, Sasha, if every day you wake up in the morning and you just write a note, to yourself of how you're going to put yourself first today. And then referring to that note or just remembering that you wrote it. It could be very simple. One word, one sentence, right? Today I'm going to do this for myself. And just making sure that you get that done in that day. Okay, so are you the type of person that tends to not get places on time? Are you one of those? I know we all have our stuff. Yeah, you do. You get tired, Amaria. I know that we all have our stuff that we need to do, those lists of things that we have to do in our lives, before we can leave and go to that place. But are you one of those people that tends to not get to that place on time no matter what? Here's some tips for you. So Sasha, you're saying that you're usually on time. I could see that about you. Okay. Here's a thought. Either set a watch early, right, to an early time, so you're tricking your brain, right? So my watch, it's hard to do with more modern watches because, I figured you are, Sasha. Because modern watches tend to set themselves according to, Wi-Fi and all that. So, and data, 5G data or whatever the heck data we have. So much data. So it's hard to trick yourself with that. But if you have a clock or just an old-fashioned watch that you can set early, that's an idea. Or just a completely separate clock. This is my leaving clock, okay? And set that like 10 minutes early, you know what I mean? To trick your brain. And I know it's like, we're always gonna self-sabotage. We're always gonna be in a position where we could self-sabotage if we wanted to. Hi, Nikki. So say I have my separate clock as my leaving clock, you know what I mean? And then I'm like, no, I know that that's not right. How much time do I really have? And then I look at my real clock, you know what I mean? So somehow, if you're gonna do that, we need to tell ourselves, no, only look at the leaving clock, okay? That's one idea. Figure out a time that you need to leave, okay, to get somewhere. And add 20 minutes if you are a serial late person, okay? If you're always late going somewhere, add 20 minutes to that time that you have to leave. Add 10 minutes if you're one of those people that just makes it in the nick of time every time. I find time management to be fascinating. I think it's really, really interesting how we're conditioned or taught this behavior of either getting somewhere on time or, just a little bit early. I find it fascinating because I think it's a lot of the thing is familial. It's a family's, it's how you're brought up, how you're raised, to get places on time and do things on time or not, I think, personally. Here's another idea. Make a leaving, quote, a leaving the house list, okay, that you can refer to every time you have to leave the house, okay? So maybe you put on there, go to the bathroom, make sure I have my keys, grab a sweater, all the things that that you do every single time that you do leave. And put those on the list. So like the essentials, you know what I mean? And then decide what time you're gonna have to leave and add 30 minutes to that time so that you can do these essentials, right? And then you can set your watch or whatever it is for the time to complete these essentials and then to leave on time. And only do on the list what's essential, okay? Now is not the time, and there's somebody out there that needs to hear this, I feel like. Now is not the time to do the laundry, okay? You know what I mean? It's just not. You can't fit it in, all right? Don't do it. You also don't need to answer that phone call. You know how the phone rings, right? And you're like on a time crunch to get out the door? You don't need to answer it. You can get back to them. They could leave a message. There's other options besides you answering that phone call and it making you late. Okay? Okay, so here are my tips that I do for my time management, and I'm going to tell you some of David's tips that he learned from somebody else. So it's not even original. That's all I'm going to say. Mine are original. Okay, so I asked myself, what's really important, on my time? Hi, Jonah. On my time management, in managing my time, what's really important? If I have something on my list and I start getting stressed because I need to get it done and I'm so stressed about it, right? Is it really that important? Or how important is it, really? Okay, this thing that I'm stressing about, is it really worth my health? Is it worth me stressing about? No. I make sure to put myself on my schedule and I prioritize that because I become someone I don't like if I don't take care of myself. Does that make sense? Because I like to make people happy. And if I didn't take care of myself and I didn't put myself on the list somewhere to take care of myself, I will be that person that just wants to make other people happy if they ask me to do something, or Sasha, if they ask me to do something, I will do everything that is in my power to help them and do that for them. Especially, as a parent, it's hard. Your children want to ride here or there, or they want their hair braided, or they want to be fed. Can you believe it? They want to be fed. So there's things like that come up. So if my cup is filled, it's easier for me then to fill their cup and to help fill their cup. So I have to put myself on the schedule. Another thing that I do is I plan things in my head. It's a dangerous place to be. I plan things in my head and I create a step-by-step plan in my head, like maybe 3 steps ahead of where I am. Like if I'm sitting here and I know I have to do something, I visualize it and I think about the next 3 things that I need to do to achieve that next thing. And I actually visualize it, even if it's something as simple as if I'm sitting on the couch and I really don't want to get up, you know what I mean? Like I don't want to do anything, but I know that I need to do laundry, right? So then before I just jump off the couch and make myself be in this life of torture, I visualize it. I visualize going to the machine and taking the laundry out and, checking the temperature of the laundry and yada, yada, yada. And then, thinking about where a laundry basket might be that I'm going to need to fill it up with the stuff that's in the dryer or whatever, planning ahead, just a few steps and visualizing it. And then what happens is when I'm actually doing that thing, my body feels like it's already done it. So it's like creating muscle memory. It's a technique. The muscles in your body already feel like they've been there and they've done that already. So it comes more naturally and with more ease to do those things rather than feeling like it's a chore. It's more of a what's the word I'm looking for, Sasha? what's the word I'm looking for, Jonah? It becomes more of a habit or an automatic thing, right? So the head, the mind doesn't get in the way anymore because it's already planned out. It's a done deal. It's like I've already done it and I'm just kind of acting it out at that point. Okay. I don't put too much on my plate if I can help it, if I remember to not put too much on my plate, because otherwise I get overwhelmed, if I have too much on my plate. Which it's so easy to do that, right? Because the mind is the mind is so powerful that it can put millions of things on your plate. And then it's just it's a matter of your body having to catch up with that, But in reality, the body really, it can't. It needs to be taken care of in order to do those things. So, and that, what falls under that is the nourishment, food, making sure you eat, making sure you drink enough. Cheers to that. Making sure you get enough rest, stuff like that. So when you put too much on your plate, the tendency is to just then try and tackle that plate and get everything done that's on the plate, right? And what ends up happening is all those other things, food, water, etc., get pushed to the side. Rest, right? They get pushed to the side because you just want to power through. We want to get this done. We got to empty this plate, baby, So you forget about all that other stuff that's going to help keep you healthy and happy. And then you end up putting yourself last. No bueno. Okay. I realized also that time is relative. What is time really? And that sometimes those things that I think are getting in the way of my management or my schedule that I've created for myself were actually meant to be the schedule or on the schedule all along, right? So what's an example of that? That phone call that I said before, don't answer it, right? That was when you were running out the door, okay? But let's say you do answer a phone call at some point in the day when you're in the middle of doing laundry or something else that's on your list, right? That's so important, right? So important to do laundry. And you decide to answer that phone call and spend time with somebody on the phone, right? Or you fit it into your day to stop by somebody's house and spend time with them. These are the things I feel like sometimes that just pop up in the day and kind of jolt our schedule a little bit. And at first it might feel uncomfortable, but if we remember that that's like the important stuff, for me, it just helps me to understand that the stuff I put on my list really isn't that important. Yes, the spontaneous things. It's true. Okay, so here's David's tips. Now, like I said, he got these from somebody else. They're not original. But he actually did some of his own research, I don't know when, on time management because he was interested in it, in learning a little bit more about it. And he has said this to me before about this one thing that he learned from somebody. I don't know who it was, but it was somebody, I think, in the service. It was a service member who said that in his own time management, what he does is in the morning, he wakes up and he makes his bed. It's the first thing he does. He makes his bed because he knows that all day long then, if he doesn't achieve anything else, he can always look back and say, I made my bed. At least I achieved that today, So that helps that guy. David put it on his list. What can I say? And the other thing I thought was interesting because he said there's been studies or something like that show about this, that in your day, at least I made my bed, in your day, if you're making plans for your time, only put 3 things on it. There's something about the number 3 that psychologists have studied, studies have been done, articles have been written, yada, 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 that if you just put 3 things and nothing more than that, what are the 3 most important things that you want to manage in your day today? Then at least it feels that it's achievable, right? It's something that you can actually achieve. Yeah. It's not too overwhelming, right? And then if you end up doing those 3 things, maybe do another 3, just like do little increments of 3. But here's what I'm thinking. What if I get one thing done on that list of 3? Do I then fill in that space with another thing? Does it always remain 3 throughout the day? Or does it ever get down to 0? So that's something to consider and remember, that we should allow ourselves to get down to 0 so that we don't overwhelm ourselves. Now the other extreme, for those of you who are the other extreme of time management, the overachiever time management people, relax. That's what I think. Relax. I'm thinking that, in life we have extremes with pretty much everything, right? You can choose an extreme of pretty much anything in life, right? Eating, friendships, sleep, or lack of sleep, drinking, sports, activities, do, go, don't stop, or do nothing, right? Sit on the couch, do nothing. So in all of the things in life that have those extremes, how about we just focus on the middle of those, the in-between section, and seeing if we can thrive in the in-between. I don't know. Let me know what you think. And if you have any questions, let me know. If you have any input yourself, let me know. I'd love to hear from you. You can join our chats on Fridays at 12:30. Every week it's a different topic. Sometimes it's yoga, sometimes it's wellness, or health in some way. If you have a topic that you want to discuss, that's also something. Oh, I'm so glad, Sasha. That's also something that we can do. And you can always catch these replays on this channel, but also go to Kara Yoga on YouTube and help us out, please, and subscribe to that channel. That would be really, really great. I'll see you guys next Friday. I hope you have a great day. Bye.